Dudes to Dads is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
You're back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads. I should say that a different way every time.
Like a little inflection on different words.
Probably not. We have so many nuances we do already. I won't remember.
Right.
How you been?
Great.
Yeah?
Things are great. Yeah, busy, but really feeling good about everything.
It's good. Are you energetic for tonight's show?
I am. Let's do some jumping jacks.
No.
All right.
We are all dialed in on video. If we move our positioning,
Yeah, it's gonna lose.
we will
a little
lose
bit.
the frame. Do you know how many hours we work on doing this?
I wish we could do not the video because then I can pretend like I'm doing jumping jacks. Yeah, you can hear it.
Well, I guess that would be
There
true.
we go.
But now that if people see it on video,
Yeah, so I don't know.
so yes, for those of you who are used to seeing us only on audio,
Yeah.
we now have video available.
Go to YouTube, look up Dudes to Dads. There should be a video of us.
As long as we get it up there.
Exactly.
That's the difficult part about actually working.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, and having
a full-time job.
People in your life.
Yeah, like kids and being a dad.
Girlfriend, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, you
whatever
have
it is.
a lot of people that's...
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, well.
yeah, today's topic is divorce statistics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is pretty heavy.
And the reason, though, is because I want to inform people on how to reduce their risk of divorce.
Good.
That's the point of the show.
Sure.
So there's always a positive spin on it.
Yeah,
It's not
right.
like, hey, check out all these cool divorce statistics. It's basically, explaining that there's likelihood in different scenarios and different situations where divorce can be more likely or can be more, more reduced.
Yeah. And we've covered the topic of divorce in a previous episode.
It's been a very popular topic with our downloads.
Yeah, we had a guest on that one
Yes,
as well.
my
right?
friend Chris was one. And then we also had some gentlemen early on that we had an interview. Both of those episodes have done very well.
Yeah.
People are very interested in the topic.
Yeah, and apparently it does resonate with certain people because, unfortunately, some people do go through these things and they have children. They don't know how to deal with this, the divorce stress and compiled with dealing with raising a child.
Yeah. And not all divorce rates are created equal. That's what I wanted to say.
Makes sense.
Numerous factors that can contribute. So there was an author who wrote an article, Glenn Stanton, and lifesitenews.com. I will put up the link on the show page for this episode. But basically, he looked at a couple different studies and then picked out the good stuff so that I didn't have to.
Great.
That's, because reading some of these studies, like...
Yeah,
it's scientific stuff and articles and blah, blah. It's like, I just didn't have the...
I was a psych major. It was like...
I did that first where I go and I look at the study and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of charts and a lot of graphs and a lot of data.
Where's the part where I care?
And so I look and I'm like, wow, this guy's a genius. He already extrapolated all that stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Extrapolated, something like that.
Same difference.
So here's some of the deal. I'm going to say the topic and then I'll explain what the stat related to it is. So, for example, cohabitation.
Okay.
Cohabiting couples have a 50 to 80% higher likelihood of divorce than non-cohabitating couples.
So wait a minute. People who live together?
Before getting married.
Before getting married.
Yeah.
That's the stat. Okay.
Yeah. I think partly, tons of people live together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And as in a marriage, you kind of assume that you're going to live together.
Yeah. So this stat, though, is saying if you live together before you get married, you're 50 to 80% higher likelihood. It's not that you're going to have a 50% 80 chance of divorce.
Right.
It's just 50 to 80% higher likelihood. And some of this stuff is insane.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why. I wish there was some explanation of why, but there wasn't. Maybe the study says that, but
I just wonder if the type of person that lives together prior to marriage is the type of person that's likely to also divorce. Like I don't know.
Correlation?
Is it correlation versus causation? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can probably speculate for
so now, though, there's so many more factors that go into that. There's age, education, ethnicity. There's all kinds of other factors that then have.
Right.
So I think that's why there's a large discrepancy of 50 to 80%.
Okay.
So now age. Those who marry after age 18 have a 24% reduced risk of divorce. I would thought it'd been higher than that. But
So let me get this statistic straight. After the age of 18, getting married. Isn't that the legal age to get married?
I think so.
In most states in the U.S.?
This was a recent study too. So I don't know. I don't know what
did he mean,
part of the country.
Like after 18 and before a certain other age?
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I'll have to go back and look at my data.
I'll have to mull on that one. But if you marry young, then you have a higher chance.
You're right though, because the date of getting married isn't the legal age 18.
I think it's 16 in some states.
Oh, maybe.
But
okay, that could be the case then.
Yeah. All right. And also this might be worldwide.
No, this was U.S.
It's only U.S.
Yeah, this is all U.S. stats.
So I know there's maybe a few different states out there that 16 is a legal age. So you have to be legally an adult to get married.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you prep really fast. Age difference.
Yeah.
So marriages where there's a significant difference in age have twice the risk of divorce than those in which the couples are close in age.
That makes sense. Because generational gaps, just the way you deal with things, what your interests are.
Totally.
But
it's interesting because you come together.
You do.
Based on those things anyway.
Of course, but I think at some point you realize how big of the... I need a newer model.
She really looked good, but eventually it just didn't work out.
Exactly. Yeah. I think especially, and usually the dynamic, and I hate to stereotype, is that there's an older man, younger woman.
That's where I was going.
And but that being said, though, even with that, if it's big enough of a gap, I could see that one person will kind of like...
She gets sick of them.
Yeah. Or that person gets really sedentary, and then that person wants to go do things or be a little more active, and then this person's like, no. And then there's just a differential what they're doing there.
Education. Yeah. Only 27% of college graduates will divorce by middle age.
Oh.
So there's a less likelihood, although they say 50% of people end in divorce.
Yeah.
They're actually saying that the numbers are a little lower than that. It's probably more likely like 40. Okay. There's some weird statistical stuff that's done to make that number.
Yeah.
So meaning if you have a higher education, you're less likely to get divorced.
Right.
Family background. Having parents who have never divorced reduces your divorce rate by 14%.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
You see that.
Right.
I actually thought it would have been higher than that.
14 was actually lower than I thought it was going to be as well. But still, it makes sense.
Yeah. So marital history. Being previously divorced elevates one's risk of divorce.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Isn't that funny? You didn't learn the first time.
Right.
You're going to repeat your mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's another statistic later that has that exact thing. Huh. Income, having a collective annual household income of $50,000 or more is a 30% lower divorce risk.
Yep.
So lower income families have a higher rate of divorce.
Lower income families do?
Correct. Yeah, because it said if you have a higher income higher than $50,000,
okay,
you get a 30% lower divorce risk.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, totally makes sense. And some of the things that you fight about as couples relates to finance and a few other things like that, and money, and
the stress is, I guess the perception would be that the stress of a lot of those things are higher when you have lower income.
That Maslow's hierarchy of needs is met, right? So
beliefs. This is interesting, which makes total sense, but going into a marriage with husband and wife holding a strong personal conviction that marriage is for life helps protect against divorce.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because a lot of people get married knowing they can get divorced.
I know. It's unfortunate to say
it's a weird thing, but it's very true.
No, you're right. And I think that's the weird part about it is
might as well try. And
if it doesn't work out, we'll just end it. Right. And it's not that they're actively saying that, but that's kind of what they are getting at. Yeah. Right. I've seen that happen.
Well, and there's some future episodes that we could have debates on the ideas of marriage, and there's different types of arrangements with I've seen a lot of information that's coming about, and people talking about some things that are quite interesting. This idea that what marriage was actually created for, in the sanctity of marriage, but there's all kinds of different relationships now happening and things. So it's interesting. It's an interesting discussion.
Yeah. There's a time to be alive.
Yeah. Desire for children. A marriage in which the wife desires children, but the husband does not, is a 50% greater risk of divorce.
Really?
That's high.
That is high. Jeez. Wow.
So you guys both better agree on that one.
Yeah. You better go into it.
So what's interesting then is you could use this as a checklist if you're single.
Yeah.
And go down all these things to make sure that you're in line with all of them, and you have a much less likely chance of divorce.
Not the most romantic thing in the world.
We can't. I've got to have someone similar age.
Yeah.
We have to have similar education.
Yeah.
We have to, make a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
We can't live together. You know what I mean? It's like all these requirements.
Yeah.
You're like, so you're checking those off.
Check it off. And yes, no, yes, no. What's the mean at that point?
Sexual history. Marrying as non-virgins is associated with considerably higher risk of divorce and dramatically more unstable first marriages.
Makes sense to some degree.
Totally does.
I think
you don't know what you're missing at that point.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But you think about that, like some people who maybe are virgins and they get married, they might have stronger convictions in their religion or their beliefs, so therefore they're not.
Or all of a sudden they feel like they missed out.
Yeah, it could be the reverse. Yeah, exactly.
When they become open to it, all of a sudden they realize or think, wow, maybe there's more out there. Or, I don't know. I mean,
that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
I think that's a kind of interesting thing.
Another one, smoking. So couples in which one partner, do people still smoke?
Yeah, I know.
And it's in California, you see the vapors. That's about it.
I know.
It's so rare to see a cigarette.
And stuff like that. One thing I was surprised about, though, when I moved to San Diego, is that there's more smokers in San Diego than there are in Los Angeles. Than what I saw. Yeah,
really?
Significantly. But there's not a lot of smokers in San Diego.
No,
there are.
Even
more.
You go to the bars at night. They have the little designated areas outside.
I see them more frequently by the coast.
Okay, so the beach communities.
Beach communities tend to be the most smoker. But then you're right. This is a vape. People, vape pens and such.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
People who vape.
I don't think this was out yet.
Right.
Couples in which one partner smokes and the other does not are markedly more likely to divorce compared to couples in which neither spouse smokes.
Yeah.
Marriages in which both smoke were more than twice as likely to dissolve compared with non-smoking couples. Can you believe that?
So, wow, smokers are more likely to get divorced than non-smokers. Nearly double. Wow.
Just from being
Do you think
that could be it's a stress mechanism or something?
It is.
That they're not they're not coping in other ways.
Again,
what's the assumption?
There's very loose connections to what's really being going on here, but the underlying truth is that if you're a smoker, you A, have some kind of addiction to something, generally speaking, and then B, you're using that to compensate for other things. So you're stressed out, and so you deal with things in a very kind of high stress manner, not really the most logical way. So I think that, again, I'm just overanalyzing this, but the smoking is a sign of something else, right?
Okay.
Like if you and I smoked a cigarette right now, we wouldn't care. We'd just probably not like it.
Right.
And then, all right, that's done.
We're getting a divorce.
And then we're getting a divorce. But,
I can't do the podcast anymore, Alan.
This is really too much on me, man.
Yeah.
But that's real.
It's very interesting.
It's that high.
I know. Wow. I guess I think it was 20,000 people or something, the study. Go back and look at some of the data. But yeah. Wow. Kind of interesting. So there was another article, and I'll post this one up as well. These are just some additional stats. Number one, and these are, by the way, this is in America as well. So,
okay.
Granted, we do have an audience. Yeah, we do have audience internationally, and some of the data is a little different. But a large portion of our audience is in America. So the first one, someone gets divorced every 10 to 13 seconds.
Jeez.
That's a lot. I don't know what the rate of marriage is. I guess we could.
Because it has to be almost the same.
Right. Yeah. Well, what's interesting is I read a couple of different articles, and they actually said that the rate of divorce is actually decreasing.
Oh.
It's not going up.
Interesting.
And you know what I think it is? Less people are getting married.
Oh,
I didn't see that, but I'm guessing because the ages are getting older.
Right.
So people are delaying marriage.
Yes.
So that's, I think, part of it. So the number of divorces is going down.
Yeah.
I think that
kind of makes sense. Yeah.
those who marry, so this is similar to that other one. Maybe we can get a better data. Those who marry between the ages of 20 to 24 have the highest rate of divorce. These couples are nearly twice as likely to get divorced as those who get married between the ages of 25 and 29. So different studies from the 18-year-old.
Yeah, and I wonder if the 18-year-old was either a skewed result or like something that was not maybe a typo.
Well, it's still saying if you got, if you're 7 years old and you get married, I guess that you get a divorce. But in some countries, but meanwhile, this was a U.S. Those were both U.S.
like
things,
I said, the only thing I can think of is 16.
Couple states.
Yeah, but I'll say so between 20 and 24. More likely to get divorced.
Twice as likely
to get divorced than at 25 through 29.
Which I'm guessing, then it goes even higher from 30 to 35 or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. But I think that between 20 and 24, you are still in this really crazy stage of life, trying to understand yourself.
It's before the quarter life crisis.
It is. And you don't know yourself. You just became an adult. You're trying to explore a lot of stuff. And then on top of that, you don't know anything. It's a really deadly combination.
Yeah.
When I hit 25, I told this friend of mine that was turning 25 before, this is when I was younger, but I was like 20, in my late 20s. I go, when you hit 25, you're going to realize how many people that are your friends that you're going to actually let go of.
Yeah.
And you're going to realize a lot of things about the people around you that you didn't realize at the time. It happened.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my God, you were totally right. Like half of the year into it. She was like,
totally.
I cleaned out my life a little bit more.
Yeah, no, it becomes a separation. I mean, it's when you start getting into serious relationships and things like that. Divorce rate for a third marriage is 73%.
Dude,
so practice does not make
perfect. That's one of those. You're right. One of those statistics that, in a weird way, it makes sense. It's counterintuitive to most things. Like you said, practice makes perfect. But if you're at your third, it's kind of like, I did this 3 times already. If I'm not getting what I want exactly, then I'm just going to bail out again.
Right.
And I think
it's easy for you. You've done it before.
Yeah, you've done it. Yeah. It's painless at that point. Right. It's like you become numb to it. You're good at it.
Right.
You're good at divorce.
Number 4, Nevada has the highest divorce rate, and they don't give it a percentage, but it's basically per 1,000 people. That's how they judge it. It's like per the population, that 9.1 persons. 9.1 per 1,000 people.
I'm going to guess that the majority of the statistics in there are from Las Vegas. And one city probably skews the rest of the state.
I don't think so. I mean, I think they had from all over, but they're just saying, well, what Nevada makes. Oh, you're saying, sorry, the city of Las Vegas.
The city of Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a lot of sin is happening.
I don't even think of other cities in Nevada. It's just
are there any?
It's late. My brain was just like,
Tahoe, maybe.
Yeah.
Henderson.
Yeah,
which is pretty close to Vegas. But so Reno? Like Reno. There we go. And they both have gambling and. Yeah,
and so it's hot,
and it's hot.
Desert.
Like,
that's what the article was like.
It's too hot to be married. Let's get out of here.
Is it the gambling and all the bad things there, or is it just that it's in the middle of the desert? And people are miserable.
I can't stay close to you. It's just too hot.
Yeah, that's funny. Massachusetts has the lowest at 2.1 per 1,000.
I'm from Mass.
Yeah, that's
something in my cap.
To hang your hat on.
Hang my hat on that one.
Yeah, and you wear hats.
I do hats. I will hang a hat at some point.
Number 6, adults who didn't attend college and have a low household income are more likely to be divorced.
Makes sense.
So non-college educated people are nearly 20% more likely to get divorced within the first 10 years of marriage than college educated couples. Mm-hmm. And lower income marriages just tend to be a little bit more unstable.
Yeah, and that goes back to that what we have in common thing, and it also goes back to the stability of income.
Stressors, everything.
Stressors, yeah.
And finally, Arkansas has the highest rate of individuals married 3 or more times.
Really?
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Men and women in Arkansas are twice as likely to be married 3 or more times than the national average. I think the thought is because they get married younger there.
Maybe that's one of the states.
16,
yeah. It's a 16.
So they get married younger, they get their first divorce, and they have, there's more time. There's more time to get.
Yeah,
if you're already getting,
to perfect it.
If you're doing your first marriage at 30, there's less time.
Right.
you're already sort of knowing who you are. You're not changing as much. So
exactly.
that could be. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. So I mean, the ultimate goal of this is to give you some analytics to how to reduce the idea of stress. So you got to, like I said, you got to make sure you're more educated.
Yeah.
You have to
have things in common with
make more money.
Make more money.
Have more things in common.
Age gap has to be a little closer.
Don't live together.
Right. Yeah. Don't live together. Age gap. Make more money.
Else?
College education.
Your parents shouldn't have gotten divorced either.
Yeah.
So you can control that.
Right.
Don't be a virgin. That's what it says.
Make sure you get it all out of your system.
Don't smoke.
Don't smoke. That's the big one.
Oh, that's it. That is a big one. And just have a desire for children and want to be married.
And don't smoke near your children while.
So if you guys have any interesting feedback, please send an email, podcast@dudestodads.com, as well as Twitter is @dudestodads and Facebook dudestodads.com.
Yep. And YouTube.
And YouTube channel.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are audio and video there. And also go to iTunes and Stitcher and leave us some reviews on either one of those platforms. We really appreciate it. It helps keep the show moving. And as we had mentioned before, we're not doing this for the money. So the subscriptions help getting out there.
I am.
Oh, well, I need to have a talk with you later.
You have to talk with our agent?
Talk with our agent.
Our management company. I mean, maybe you're not getting into...
Yeah, maybe our management company, dudestodads.com.
All right. So with that, another episode, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.